In the small town of Fair Hollow, nestled between green hills and aging railways, life moved at a sleepy pace. People knew their neighbors, and secrets were rare until a storm of betrayal shattered the peace. Tasha Dillard, a 32-year-old black woman, had lived in Fair Hollow for only a year, having moved from Detroit after receiving a grant to run the town's new community arts center. Her kindness and quiet brilliance stood out, especially in a town where most things stayed the same for decades. She organized after-school programs, taught painting to retired veterans, and led monthly mural projects. Her work began to attract attention from the mayor's office and even regional media. But not everyone liked that spotlight. Warren Ames, a white man in his 40s who'd grown up in Fair Hollow, was the town's unofficial gatekeeper. He ran the local paper, chaired the historical society, and had deep family roots going back 5 generations. He was used to being the one praised, the one credited. When reporters came asking about the revitalization of the town, they wanted to talk to Tasha, not him. He didn't like that. At first, his bitterness was passive, backhanded compliments, subtle exclusion from town meetings, redirecting sponsors to local folks who've been around longer. Tasha remained polite. She'd dealt with worse. But things escalated. Late one Friday evening, just before an art gala she'd spent months organizing, Tasha received an email from a town official. Her grant was being suspended pending an investigation into financial discrepancies. She was stunned. The next morning, police showed up at her cottage with a warrant. Someone had reported that she'd siphoned grant funds into a personal account. Her bank account, recently compromised by a phishing scam, now bore deposits she couldn't explain. The art center's books showed fake invoices. Tasha swore she didn't do it, but everything was pointing to her. Fair Hollow wasn't a forgiving place for outsiders, and even less so for a black woman accused of theft. Whispers spread fast. Parents pulled their kids from her classes. Her landlord mentioned ending her lease early just in case. Even the friendly barista at the cafe started avoiding eye contact. She'd worked too hard to let it all collapse, and she was no fool. While her lawyer handled the legal front, Tasha went looking for what everyone else had missed. She dug into the art center's network logs, tracing the IP addresses used to submit false invoices. One of them was familiar. It matched the network used by Warren Ames's home office. But that wasn't enough. She began talking to locals, those who had quietly grown to respect her. One of the teenage volunteers remembered seeing Warren at the center late at night, claiming he was there to check security. A janitor recalled that some grant documents had mysteriously vanished the same week Warren came by to donate supplies. With the help of a young IT intern, she retrieved deleted files from an old hard drive, showing Warren had copied templates of invoices and fake payment authorizations weeks before the money went missing. She brought her evidence to the police chief, who, after some resistance, agreed to reopen the case. But Warren was clever. He denied everything, called it a smear campaign, and tried to frame it as a personal vendetta from someone not from around here. Then Tasha made her boldest move. She invited the press back. At the reopening of the art center, now cleared of charges, Tasha gave a public presentation with receipts, metadata, witness statements, and tech forensics. She laid it all out. Calm, clear, undeniable. The entire town was invited. She even showed emails Warren had accidentally forwarded from his personal address when manipulating financial files. People gasped. They turned. The mayor publicly apologized to her. Warren was removed from every board he sat on. Donations he'd funneled were traced, and he was charged. But for Tasha, it wasn't just about justice, it was about reclaiming her dignity. The same townsfolk who once crossed the street to avoid her now stood in line to apologize. Children returned to her classes. Parents offered support. And for the first time since she moved to Fair Hollow, someone left a basket of fresh scones on her porch with a note that simply said, "Thank you for not giving up." And she never did.